Hello,
Deletes
welcome everybody.
timeline,
Okay.
which is also a very useful thing to have. But
Okay, so since we are right at 12:30, I'm going to go ahead and kick off. Welcome everybody to today's HUG roadmap discussion. I'm Brittany Moon. I'm HUG Executive Director. I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance. I caught COVID a couple days ago, so there might be some coughing. My voice is a little bit raspy, so sorry about that. But joining me today for today's discussion is Tom Chambers, HUG Director of Community and Development, Lisa Skinner, HUG Vice President of Finance and Treasury, and Josh Vincent, HUG Vice President of Development. So the reason that we are here today is based off of feedback that we heard from the recent listening sessions, the membership satisfaction survey, and discussion during Alliance. There seems to be a little bit of a disconnect with the membership around the direction of the HUG organization.
I gotta go, I'm in a meeting.
And to remedy that, and any confusion, the HUG board decided to have more frequent cadence with the membership to outline our direction, strategy, and to give frequent updates about the projects we are focused on over the next 12 months. We want this to be an interactive discussion, so if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask as we go or put them in the chat and we'll get to them there. So for today, what we want to share with you is we're going to kind of go over Alliance 2022 and a recap of that. We're going to go over membership. We have some information about updates that we're doing for the regional events, our education series and community, as well as partnerships. We're going to be making some changes to the community, and we have a website redesign that we're going to be launching in a few months. And then we're going to have a finance update, and then we'll go into like a true formal Q&A. So Alliance. Overall, Alliance 2022 in Seattle was a very successful event. I must say it felt so good to be back in person and connect with folks that I hadn't seen in over 2 years. I'd first like to give a huge shout out to the Alliance planning team and the Higher Logic team for all the hard work and dedication to bring a great conference and program to our attendees with over 350 sessions offered. Even though registrations were down from previous years, which was to be expected due to COVID, we had 1,600 people in person at Alliance. I'd also like to thank the 70+ sponsors that came out to support the HUG. And then attending the pre-conference event with Visit Seattle and our hotel partners before Alliance, I realized that in the past, we've never shared the economic impact that our conference brings to the city and the local businesses around the convention center. We were the first event to come back in person Seattle in over 2 years, and this had a huge impact for the city and the people that work in the downtown area. Here are a few of the statistics that really stood out to me when we met with them. The first was that this was the first time some of the small businesses in the area were able to reopen. Alliance brought over 1,000 employees back to work, some of which had been furloughed or laid off during the pandemic. And there were 7,917 hotel room nights filled by Alliance attendees, and that resulted in total business sales of around $5 million for Seattle. If you were unable to join us in Alliance this past year, you can still get access to the amazing content. We've added the link in the chat for the on-demand recordings. And then the Alliance 2023 program team is already hard at work to offer another amazing conference. We hope you all have blocked your calendars and will be joining us in St. Louis, February 26th through March 1st. I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Tom to give a little update on our mission, vision, and purpose.
Awesome. So, hey, everyone, thanks for joining the call today. I am really excited to be working on this stuff for the HUG. And I think we had quite a few listening sessions taking place over the last couple of months. And in some of those listening sessions, we heard people saying, some members saying like, hey, you know, what's happening with all of the change? Who is the HUG? What is our mission? What is our vision? What do we do? Because there's been so much change over the last couple of years. So we felt like it would probably be a good idea to just touch base on that. And so we have our mission up there, and it's pretty straightforward. We connect the people who manage and integrate your organization's IT system. So it's what we've done for the last 25 years. We're going to continue to do that. You know, if I were to kind of elaborate on that, we came up with another statement that maybe hits home a little more, which is we make success a reality for our members by leveraging our community expertise, which is all of our members, and facilitating those connections and providing education to each other. So none of that's going to change. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to use that mission, that vision, to really kind of accelerate growth within the HUG and expand into our existing membership base. So not to spoil anything coming up, but just we're really focused on being that one place that's your organization's IT systems, your people can come to the HUG and connect with like-minded users and that type of thing. So that's our mission. I'll move on.
Okay, so then I'm going to take it back over to membership. Oops. We're getting ready to launch the 2022-2023 membership renewal campaign. And by being part of the higher education user group, you are able to connect with over 35,000 individuals across 900 campuses in 37 countries. HUG membership provides value to your institution through engagement across the HUG community with access to the discussion forums, white papers, trainings, best practice documentation, as well as access to the programs and conferences that provide insight into future product direction and direct communication with over 100 solution providers. On top of that, this year, we are going to offer a limited time promotion. If you renew your membership during the month of May, you'll be able to secure the Alliance 2022 early bird rate for Alliance 2023 in St. Louis. More details will be sent out on May 4th with the membership renewal announcement, as you can see with the fun Star Wars theme to this membership renewal slide. But now I'll pass it back over to Tom to talk about regionals.
So we've also been super busy working on a solution for our regional events. So I was on the All AG call a couple days ago and this came up. So I know there's a lot of interest, and we've had a lot of sponsors reach out and ask what's going on with regionals for 2022, the US regional meetings. Again, kind of going back to listening sessions, we're also hearing that, you know, regionals is something that our membership appreciates. So to come up with a solution for regionals, we've been working on a plan to really make those a possibility this year. So some of the things that you can expect, and we're almost done, it's just not quite ready, but some of the things that you can expect are some rebranding around our regionals, some new program offerings. We're going to try and incorporate some CPE training, those types of things into the regional events. What it's going to look like is putting more, I don't know what's the word, more emphasis into the region, the existing leadership that we have connections with in those regions, but also kind of maybe shining a light on those folks so that other schools that maybe aren't in the HUG ecosystem can see who is available as a resource in that region to potentially build a program to put on a great regional that everyone wants to come in and attend. So more to come here in the next couple of weeks. We're almost done putting that together. And again, on this one, you'll see more information coming soon, more detail coming soon on how we're going to put all of that together. Did I miss anything, Lisa, Brittany?
I don't think so. We're super excited to bring regionals back. I know, like Tom had said, like through our listening sessions, we really hear that there's a high demand for them. So we'll be working really hard to get those out for you guys this year.
So, and I just saw Tom Johnson put in chat, yay. Tom Johnson and I had a conversation. It was super helpful to hear him and his excitement around regionals. I was just gonna say, if anyone on this call, there's Carl too. If anyone on this call is interested in, potentially participating in the assembly of a program for a regional, by all means, reach out to us. You reach out to me, reach out to Brittany, send us a note and say, hey, how do I get involved? And we'll work with you to make sure we get stuff moving. Same thing for, I think we have some corporate members on. Corporate members, if you're, if you're interested in helping potentially put on a program, we're open to that too. So, feel free to reach out. And I'm done.
Well, playing off of what Tom said for regionals, for education and certification, on top of the 65 webinars and community discussions we offer annually, this year the HUG is going to put a strong focus on expanding our professional development, certifications, micro-credentialing, and training offerings. I'm currently working with Sherry McEntee. She's going to be the HUG Education Chair, and Tisha Vera, she's our HUG Education and Program Manager, to build out new training offerings that we intend to launch this fall. To kick off, we're going to have a strong focus on offering tracks around query, business analyst training, data management, integrations, and security. So stay tuned, because there's going to be more to come on that. We're really excited about those offerings. And then in addition, we're going to continue to work with our strategic partners to bring out added value to your membership and additional education offerings this year. We're excited to be partnering with Infotech. They are currently offering a trial membership to HUG members. In case you missed it, the communication, Hillary is going to throw the link into the chat right now, so you guys can get a 3-month trial to Infotech. In addition to that, we are currently working with Infotech on a 4-part education series that will be free to our members. We should have more information out on that series in the next couple weeks. And then by popular demand, we're going to continue to partner with Beyond Academics to offer more ThinkSpace events and looking into other opportunities to expand our offerings with Beyond. We're currently working with Matt and team, and we should be getting those on the calendar in the next couple of weeks as well. And then lastly, our partnership with Tambolini, they're offering a higher education summit series that's going to be available to our members. The first summit in the series is on May 26th, and we'll have focused on student systems, and it's going to feature top product strategy and development executives in the market. So if you haven't registered for that event, Hillary's going to throw that in the chat. Please go ahead and register. It's supposed to be a great event. We're really excited about our partnerships and expanding our education offerings this year and making sure that the HUG is the first place that you think of for your training and development. So stay tuned. More information will be coming as we start rolling things out.
So this is me again. So website, we've been busy since Alliance. So we're still in the middle of this, but this is hopefully going to be launched here in the next 30 days or so. We have a whole new UI coming out for the online community. Some of the big, the big pain points that we've heard over the years is, hey, search really stinks. Navigating the HUG website's really tough. So the UI is going to look something very, very, very similar to this screenshot, but really the aim is to go through the navigation that we have up there currently and make it a little more simplified, or a lot more simplified. Hopefully there's the search functionality is what we've all been waiting for many years. There's a lot of new functionality that's kind of built into this around personalization too. So the big change here is kind of more of a dashboard view when you log into the HUG website for your profile. So those communities that you're participating in are there on your left, right underneath your profile. Any of the news that's relevant to you should be the news that pops up on your dashboard. You, of course, have the ability to go in there and adjust that later, but it's really meant to be a more personalized experience. The other, I guess there's another slide with another screenshot so you can take a look. Are the broken file links going to be corrected? Lydia, I am not sure. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer. but I will try and find you one. And if Lydia, if you want to send that question to support or myself, we can try and get an answer for you on the file links thing. But the other piece here is we've hired a brand new community manager. You may have received an email from her. Her name's Alex Green. We have a heavy focus moving forward to really moderating the community forums, to making sure that people are getting their questions answered when they ask questions. So there's a new, I guess, reinvested interest in making sure that when you do go post a question, or there's a great answer to a question in a forum, that's highlighted, and that community members that are providing great content and great answers are being recognized for that kind of stuff. So we're really excited about the new community manager. We're really excited about the new UI that's going to be released here shortly. And I think that's about it. And this is just the content piece too. Oh, we're rolling out a blog engine that's brand new. It's going to be a lot easier to manage. And then hopefully, I think some of the file issues are solved with the new file libraries and other modules that are built into the new UI.
Yeah, all of that feedback that you guys have been putting in the survey and, talking to you guys at Alliance and, running into the same issues as we're doing searches on the site is all things that we're taking into account as we're rolling out this new UI. And we're working really closely with Amy Ewing as we are, doing this to make sure that we're cleaning everything up, that navigation is easy, that when you guys go to search, you are finding what you're looking for, that you're easily able to get to the communities and the information that you come to the site for. So we're hoping that when we launch this in the next few months, that everything will be cleaned up and you guys will be really excited to be using the site. And then we're going to turn it over to Mr. Joshua Vincent.
Hey everyone, my name is Josh and I was excited to join the call today to talk about something called these families of practice as part of our community. And the goal here really is to kind of expand on and double down on our strategy of being vendor inclusive and supporting these end users across the higher education user group.
Zeus, come on.
Hey, so that we're trying to make sure that we cater to our users' needs that go beyond a single system and move into process families, these families of practice. So it connects people that are doing similar kinds of work at different institutions with what are the best practices, how to join business processes across multiple systems, and have that repository, that knowledge base, the white papers and things like that, that go across vendor areas so that we're solving problems collaboratively. We're able to share information, do peer comparisons and things like that, that really focus on the process families that we all have to engage in. And then the technology that underpins those, which may be one or more different technology vendors. It's an additional offering and way for the higher education user group to make sure that we're bringing the right vendors to the table for all of our users to engage with, but also increasing the impact and utility of the HEUG platform for member institutions and those that want to join, that want to see other places to engage. It's not just Oracle, or it's not just PeopleSoft or Workday or those things. Those will still exist because it's important to have those centers of excellence, those bodies of knowledge, those advisory groups, et cetera, and adding a little bit more here that goes in a different direction. So concludes my prepared remarks. Over to Lisa.
All right. Wow. We're moving right along here. Okay. So let me just share. I know Brittany mentioned already about Alliance, so I just wanted to cover that a little bit again. We were really happy with the attendance that we received. We actually budgeted quite a bit lower attendance just based on obviously the pandemic and how we were trending before. So we did budget for that for, I believe we had about 1,600 attendees. Obviously we hoped for a lot more, but we did budget for it. So I think that's really the main message, is that we were prepared. We reduced costs as much as we could. There is when we booked Seattle, which was several years ago and prior to the pandemic, we had a number of hotel commitments, and so we are still bound by that. So we're still working through having to pay some of that hotel attrition. So again, budgeted for, but it does show that we'll probably have a reduction in our net assets this year. So we're looking forward to St. Louis being kind of back to the norm, and hoping that everyone will come back and visit with us, and that we'll plan for that budget as well. It won't be back to our original numbers of 3,000 and 4,000, but I think we will definitely plan for a little bit more than we had in Seattle. So that is, as Brittany mentioned, we're starting to plan for that and gear up for that, and we'll start putting some budgets together. And let's see, so that's on the Alliance front. We also talked about the regionals, and I think there was a question about going international as well. And we're happy that we are looking at all of the non-US and US regionals. We are definitely going to be looking at them more in detail and seeing how real viable they are on their own, and appreciate all of our partners participating as well. So more to come on that, and hopefully we'll be able to post that we'll have a few regionals in the next year. But even worldwide, there have been some challenges. So just being realistic about those numbers and bringing all of those back. And finally, again, mentioned some new of those educational offerings. So obviously the HUG is always looking for additional revenue streams in addition to cutting back on our costs. Back to Alliance, I wish that box lunches weren't so expensive and audiovisual weren't so much, then we could really reduce costs even more. But that's the reality that we're facing as far as just expenses across the board. So outlook is looking pretty good, even with projected loss this year. I think we're hopeful for the next year. We did really well in the prior fiscal year with our virtual alliance. So that is carrying us through, and we hope to continue to further that as we move into the next few years with St. Louis, and again following that with Phoenix, and then I think TBD. So that is a quick finance update. I think that's it. Brittany?
I was just going to add, Lisa, for everybody, for the on Alliance and like how the contracts and stuff they happen. And typically for Alliance events, we contract those 5 years in advance. So, when we contracted Seattle, it was 5 years ago. We had no idea that there was going to be a pandemic or anything like that. So we were basing, the contract and our hotel blocks off of having, 3,500 to 4,000 attendees. And when we had 1,600, that's why we are facing some of that attrition. And now, as we look to the future, we're changing in the way that we're contracting so that we are able to grow, but we're not, so far out with our obligations to hotel blocks and all of that kind of stuff. So just to be transparent with everybody, because I don't think that most people understand for groups our size, how far in advance we actually have to contract to get the dates and the convention center and the hotels when we're citywide and all of that.
Thanks, Brittany. Yes, so we're a pretty large group, so there are only so many cities that can handle us. And yeah, what was great was even prior to the pandemic, we were already concerned about, booking too far out in advance. So we had kind of held back booking further out. And so I think we just, in that respect, we're very fortunate. Going into the pandemic and worrying about, further liabilities, but that's worked out. We did have some negotiation to do. And so we have booked actually Phoenix twice. So that we have that in 2 years and then again in 2030. And we're currently working with Seattle to see what we can do to reduce our attrition. All right.
And I think with that, that takes us to Q&A. So we'll go ahead and open up. Like, we want this to be a lively discussion. So anything that you guys have questions on, concerns, feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Take yourself off mute, put it in the chat.
Hi, Brittany. This is Angelina from UC California. This is my first time attending one of these meetings, and I think it's a great overview. I don't know how I've missed these in the past, but I really enjoyed getting the update on things that I normally would not be informed of. So a little behind the scenes really helps me to understand more and know what to expect, know how to plan. So I appreciate the updates. Thank you.
Thank you. There's
Hi,
gotta
this
be-
is, oh, I'm sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, that's perfect.
I'm Kim Trout. I'm an AG for student financials. I'm a chair. And I guess my question comes in is the opening up of the community and what, oh, sorry, somebody popped up in the chat, that my concern is opening the community. And are we going to lose that focus that we all currently have with PeopleSoft or Oracle in general? I understand kind of the concept, but we, as an AG actually just met today, and we're just concerned, that what does that mean for us as an AG and as a community opening up, and we lose that focus, or we're concerned about losing the focus. So if somebody could elaborate on
Sure.
the broadening of the community so that we're not losing that
Enrollment
focus.
Services, this is Robert. May I help you?
Maybe we can get Robert to mute real quick. I'd love to answer the question though. Kimberly, I think the goal is to make sure that we maintain focus on those AG type activities that you're describing. But as we go vendor inclusive and we have Ellucian's participation and Workday's participation, one of the things that we've heard from members, and we want to make sure we're creating for the unique things about higher ed, whether it's student enrollment and records management or faculty profiles and things like that. How do we connect folks with like-minded individuals across usually a couple different technology platforms, like our middleware group and the folks doing iPaaS stuff, to assure that people can talk about how did you solve that problem when it's not working against the AGs. And I think that's an important distinction here,
Right.
that this is a collaborative common lane on the same highway, same direction generally, but it's going to be used for some other different purposes. We don't want to dilute the AG focus at all, but add some additional avenues so that people who aren't participating in those but have different questions to answer or to ask can find some support as well.
Okay. And many of us, and I'm not sure about all the other areas, but for student financials, we have the NACUBOs and the ACROs and all of that cross multiple vendors and have that ability. So we're already utilizing those organizations in that manner. So I was trying to figure out how this is all going to just all fit together from our perspective.
And Kimberly, that's a great point. Like, we've looked at making sure that we are adding support in a non-competitive way with our own offerings and across the HUG for our members, but also in making sure we don't dilute, I'll say, the utility of the HUG with competitors, whether NACUBO may be a little different, but CUPA, the HR group, the College and University Personnel Association, and making sure that we are collaborative with those groups as well, and making sure that we're offering on the technology side, how do we achieve those results for the people that are asked to execute certain processes or adjust their processes for new legislation, to accommodate new needs in the industry, and so on and so forth. But again, kind of the technology underpinning here, but at an end user level, the people that are actually doing the work.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
This is Nancy Favre with George Fox University, and I really like that we we are keeping the focus on the technology side, because when I go to other conferences or participate in other associations, the technology isn't the strong thing. That digging into the day-to-day, how do you get this done in Oracle, is not what they're focused on, and not what I learned there. And that's what makes this HUG group so unique and so helpful, is it's a place I can go and say, hey, we're having this problem. How do you solve it? And I want to make sure that we keep the forums available for specific tracks in Oracle, because that's really, really helpful.
As an Oracle and PeopleSoft school, I agree. So we don't want to lose that opportunity by any means. We also want to make sure that for the things that aren't supported in one of those platforms directly, like I used faculty portfolios a minute ago. Those are some things that, how do we connect those to PeopleSoft and Oracle, or for those that have gone to Workday, and make sure that we communicate with each other so you can learn from others. What is the right way back to in the system, the roadmap or the how-to sheets for which data points go where, how do you do those queries across systems, and so on. Looks like there's a few other questions, so I better hush up for a minute.
If you have your hand raised, you can just go ahead and ask your question. Sorry about that.
Hey, Brittany, this is Scott.
Hi, Scott.
One of the questions / concerns that we've gotten from customers, particularly at the conference this year, is the lack of roadmap sessions, unfortunately, because the PeopleSoft team isn't there. And I'm wondering if you guys have thought of strategies to address that, so that in addition to the content that Nancy was talking about, which is awesome, if there is also a way to get that strategic content that Alliance is normally known for.
I'll go ahead and, I mean, we continue to work with Oracle to try to bring, some of those roadmaps back. Obviously, they have switched and kind of transitioned some of the roadmaps. They're still offering them, but they obviously didn't bring like their people tools and those roadmaps this last year. So we're going to continue to build on our relationship with them and hope that we can bring them back. We've also started looking into other avenues that we can get some of that content to bring that to our members as well. Josh, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add on that.
Actually, I think you got it. I think that was a full answer.
Perfect.
Great, thank you.
Hi there. Thanks for this opportunity. My name is Perry Doan and I work for Southern Methodist University. And I am just curious about whether I'm doing something wrong, or if you can explain why it is that now when I do searches on the HUG website, I don't get conference presentation content like we used to. I know you're charging for online access to that now, and I just think that's a huge loss to the community.
Are you talking about the current Alliance? Because you should be you should be able to get all of the previous Alliance recordings with your membership, but the current Alliance recordings have not been transferred over for membership use yet.
Gotcha. So all the prior years would be available through the just common search and HUG, just not the current one.
Okay. And if you want to reach out to me if you're having issues finding any of that, I'll put my email in the chat and I'm happy to hop on a call and walk you through it so that you know where to find all of that.
Thank you. No, that's great clarification.
Perry, can you update us? Is JD's Chippery still there on Hillcrest Avenue?
Yes, thank God. We love that place. It's so yummy.
Hi, all. My name is Stacia Madsen. I'm the current chair to the new CARS group. And I had a couple of questions about how to support advisory groups as we're transitioning to these new models. At the All Products call on Tuesday, there were some ideas about how we move forward strategically. But I'm just wondering, are there other conversations that are happening about how to support us as we move to these new models? We're kind of trying to figure it out as we go along. And so I'm just wondering, are those conversations happening? Are there are there going to be resources for us to tap into? And then also, if we're looking at new models to support our users, instead of each group sort of trying to figure out on their own, are there some shared resources or surveys that the groups can sort of use from one another? So I'm just looking for, like, what is the plan to support the AGs moving forward to meet the HUG's vision going forward?
I'll talk in terms of resources, and then I'll let Josh talk in terms of strategy and direction for the AGs. But in terms of resources, our staff is here for you guys and available for anything that you need. So if you guys are wanting to send surveys or get feedback from your membership, or even just like, how do we better, engage the community to find out exactly what it is that they're wanting, and how do we help you guys get that information out to the community, I'm happy to set up a call or hop on the CARS call and do any of that with you. Our team's here to support you, social media, education, webinars, anything like that. And then how, putting together engagement plans and all of that. So we can help with any of that. And then as far as like the strategic direction of where AGs are going, I'll turn it over to Josh and team to talk about that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it was really clear. Hopefully, it seems like I may not have been as articulate as I could have been, that the AGs aren't going away in any new website or by the addition of the communities of practice. The idea is some additional things that we feel may have not been addressed under our conventional AG model. The focus of the AGs will still be representing and advocating on behalf of their constituent members on particular issues, especially as they are specifically tied to vendor products. And the communities of practice are resolving more process-related issues for the people using different technologies. Maybe there is some overlap, I'll acknowledge, but it is hopefully an adjacent, like a neighbor to that advisory group philosophy. Now, it's really marketed as a coming attraction here, and we will continue to welcome any input in making sure that we're creating a collaborative lane for additional dialogue, best practice sharing, engaging new and additional vendors and community members that does not detract from the utility that the AGs provide for all of the member institutions.
I think part of the question is the consolidated groups. So we do have our AGs, but we're sort of it's been suggested to sort of stop thinking in those sort of AG models. And so when we have consolidated groups where we're supposed to sort of leverage our common cause, that doesn't come without some maybe some pain points. And so I'm kind of looking for, as we're moving forward, to do, yes, the AGs are sort of there, but we're supposed to sort of start thinking beyond that. So if we're doing that, and I think I'm just looking for the tools that we need to sort of shift to that new, looking at us as not just our AGs, but beyond that.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I think that's a really great point. We want to be thoughtful in our response. So on that one, we might want to go back to the lab and think about what is the best way to make sure we're setting clear expectations across all of these different really pillars of our community, so that we understand that roadmap, the vision, it's clear how we work together on this. The goal is a healthy, vibrant ecosystem that finds something for everyone, but doesn't create confusion amongst any of the members about where to go and what the different areas are for. So I think that's really great feedback.
In addition to that too, I'd love to hop on a call with you or hop on a call with the CARS to just to better understand, like, what are the tools that you guys are needing? What are the areas that you need more support in? And then we can make sure that we're working with you all to give that to you, so that we're delivering, the best support to you.
Great. Thanks for that feedback. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So just to comment, I personally am kind of little dismayed to hear that the the AGs are being rolled up into, well, it's okay, they're rolled up into one, but to hear that they're kind of they're losing their identity is what it sounds like to me. And that's disheartening, because the AGs are the voice of each of our groups, and that's very valuable input that we need that input. We need to have their voices there at the table. I don't know what anybody else feels, but it sounded, if that's not what it is, and I'd like to hear a correction to that.
And I would agree. I think that there has been a little bit of confusion. When we did go vendor inclusive, I think that, there was a little confusion around some of the AGs on, what they were supposed to be doing and what their focus was, especially around finance and HCM and our technical group. But the AGs aren't going away. We are not trying to cause any kind of, issues around, goals or directions or anything like that. We still have a PeopleSoft community that we are here to service and make sure that they are being taken care of. And we want our AGs to be strong. I mean, the AGs are the lifeblood of the organization. So anything that we can do to better support our AGs and help them understand and navigate, that's exactly what we want to do. And with some of this roll up, anytime that we've done any kind of, change, as now we have the cars AGs and they're not all separate. It takes a little bit of time for everybody to kind of get their feel and find their groove and work through it. And Anna could probably talk to the technical when we merged technical and reporting. So it's just working through that right now and getting all of that information out to the membership and staying focused on the membership.
And I think that question came from Stacy, or the concern presented. For sure, on this call, we want to make it really clear that the AGs aren't going away, and the feedback is loud and clear, to be sure. But also, we hope that we've articulated that there should be no worry or concern about those going away or disappearing or getting absorbed or anything like that. That's not the intended direction for the roadmap at all.
Could someone quickly remind us what CARS is?
Smaller than a bus.
I'm spacing on the full acronym.
It's Campus
Matt, can you
Academic
help
and
me? Thank you.
Report. Yeah. Campus Academic and Record Support.
I just while there's a minute of silence here, to all the folks who participate on the AGs, we're the HUG's obviously here to support you 100%. You're also probably one of our biggest resources. So if to kind of turn the tables around, as the board, as the staff here on the call, we're here for you. So if you have ideas, suggestions, input, send an email. We're 100% here to support you all. So let's hop on a call. Like, you're not going to put anyone out whatsoever. And I think like so far this call has been it's been really good for me, even personally, just to kind of hear folks speak up and voice concerns and ask questions about things going on. So open invitation.
Brenda, did you have your hand raised?
I did. I'm sorry. And I thought I had unmuted and I had not. So I just started talking. So I just have a comment. I think the message loud and clear is received that the AGs aren't going away. The issue is what the role of the AGs will be. And You know, in the past, we have been representing our respective areas, you know, with Oracle and working with Oracle and voicing issues on bugs and fixes that were needed very specifically. And that's also part of the justification that we have been able to give to our managers and our institutions for our continued participation. And so the fear is, if we are bringing in so many new, you know, products, how can we best do that? So I think that message is where it's confusing.
I think where the confusion comes from is we're not creating the same advisory group model for the other products. So we're going to continue to keep the advisory groups for the Oracle, or Oracle specific. So the new model, and like where we're kind of branching out, that this new tentacle for the families of practice is more the business practices around encompassing, you know, a vendor agnostic integrations, data management, all of that. And then we're still keeping our current Oracle AGs to continue to service our PeopleSoft community and making sure that, you know, those questions are being answered and we're, you know, helping each other there. So that's not going away. I'm not sure if that helped at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, we understand that, but the issue is, will we have the same level of participation from Oracle if we are bringing in their competitors to this organization? That's,
So
and we have already
asking-
seen on some of our AGs that they
Yeah.
don't have that presence from Oracle anymore.
Brenda, we're asking, or maybe a little more bluntly demanding, that Oracle continue to come to the table. We've had some challenges with some of the advocacy participation as over the years. And I think that's our continued focus, is making sure they're at the table. Now, many of when we talk about bringing in other vendors like MuleSoft, those integration platform vendors, those certainly aren't in the competitive space with Oracle, and as the same vein that you might see Workday. But with PeopleSoft and our relationship with Oracle now owning PeopleSoft, we really are advocating strong that their place, that there is not only a seat at the table, but that we really need and require them to attend. Our goal is to continue to have that relationship with Oracle going forward, to the extent that we can help persuade them to continue to engage with us.
I wonder if I could ask, so am I hearing correctly that if there are going to be other vendor or other software areas that are supported in different areas, they would have new AGs, like an AG for Workday employee versus a AG for a PeopleSoft employee?
No, Kevin,
That's not,
sorry.
that's not our intentions at this time. Nope.
Yeah, no, we're not planning on spinning up AGs
See,
for
that's
Workday.
that's where I would see that Oracle would say, well, we're not going to participate in a group, or we're not going to divulge the company's secrets to the competitors. We would divulge it to
Kevin,
the
that's a great point.
customers.
So those competitors can't see anything that Oracle's doing in our space, and it really is, as a marketing proposition, an advantage to Oracle to engage with the HUG and its membership this way, as a differentiator from, say, Workday. Here they have access to members and can receive requests this way, whereas the other vendors will be doing things on their own websites and lose the value of the HUG's cross-functional and multi-institution industry focus on higher ed.
And we've walked through all of that with Oracle too. Everything is secured. So Oracle can't see Workday, Workday can't see Oracle, Ellucian, and vice versa. So everything within the AG groups and where Oracle is participating is completely secured.
Well, right now, when we have at the Student Financials AG, we had a representative from Oracle, and we were talking about Oracle things with them. How would we do that same thing if the Workday vendor was was also present.
But the AG group that you guys are currently an Oracle AG group, so there is
Oh,
no.
so there would be separate AG groups.
No, we're not. I think that the confusion is we're not creating AG groups for other vendors. So the only AG groups that we will continue to have are Oracle focused. The other stuff is going in more of the families of practice, and it's going to be business practice focused, but we're not spinning up AG groups at all.
Oh, okay. That's much clearer now. Okay, thank you.
Just to piggyback on that, Kevin, all of the workdays, the Eleusians, the anthologies that I'm talking to today, they all have spaces set up now to do the stuff that you're doing in HUG that Oracle never set up in a way, essentially. So they have a space that they want their customers to go in and have those conversations. So there's no desire to set that up in our site.
We have talked about potentially spinning up, like a task force. If there's a specific issue that they're having and they want to get subject matter expertise, then they would spin up a small group, work with that group, and then spin that group down. So those are things that could potentially happen, but they're not advisory groups.
Okay, thanks. That's helpful.
Are there any other questions? Okay, well, if there's not any other questions, well, then we'll go ahead and wrap today. I have put my email in the chat. I think Tom's put his email in the chat. So if you guys have any questions at all, or you think of any feedback that you want to give us, or if you're just having issues navigating, please feel free to reach out. And then we'll be doing these cadences more often. So as we start rolling out the website and making the changes, be looking forward to, probably in the July, August timeframe, another one of these coming, and we'll just continue doing these throughout the year. And we look forward to speaking to you guys more often. Thank you for attending today.